Platt here, and today I try a beer from an English brewery that references American football. That's next on Platt's Beer of the Week. Platt here, and today we're going to try a beer from St. Peter's Brewery, the Dirty Tackel Ale. The brewery itself was built in 1996 in the Suffolk area. On the site of the brewery, there's also a banquet hall and restaurant. And reading a little bit on the website, part of the, I believe it's a banquet hall, part of that building was built all the way back in the 1200s, which is just absolutely mind-boggling to think, you know, a building been around that long. Another interesting fact about the brewery or the company itself is they also own a pub in London called the Jerusalem Tavern. The tavern itself was opened in 1720. The idea that this bar's been around for about 300 years now is just, I find that amazing. And that is something you will see over in England with their breweries, however, is that you will see a brewery or brewing company own a chain of pubs. That's something you really don't see here much in America. You will have the brewery, and they usually start off with a brew pub, and then they will expand out the brewing, but you don't see chains of those brew pubs or restaurants in the same sense. Part of it is because here, depending on the states or wherever, there is rules about what they call vertical integration, brewing the beer, but also owning the restaurant that sells the beer. There is some of that here, but not like you would see over in England. St. Peter Brewery has a full line of beers, including several organic beers if you're into that. They do have a couple of beers which I find interesting that you might enjoy. A couple of Star Wars themed beers, actually more specifically Stormtrooper beers. They have a Stormtrooper Ale and a Stormtrooper Pilsner. So if you're a big Star Wars fan, you might want to keep your eyes out for those. They do reference on their website, and again, having a restaurant banquet hall, they do have a lot of references toward the culinary side, including a recipe page. And on that recipe page, they have a recipe for a honey porter ice cream, something I might want to try one of these days. Before we try the beer, let's check out the stats on the beer. So the Dirty Tackel Ale is more specifically an English bitters. If you've never had an English bitters before, don't let the name throw you off. Here in the U.S., if you were to go to your local bar after a hard day's work, most likely you're going to order a lager, a lighter style lager. In the UK, if you go to your neighborhood pub after work, there's a good chance you're going to order a bitters. Now again, don't let the name throw you off. It's not that this is a real hoppy beer, not in the IPA sense. These beers are actually slightly more malt driven, though there's plenty of hops to balance out the beer. These tend to be more sessionable beers, mid 3s to mid 4s on the alcohol level. This specific one's 5.2, a little higher, but nothing too ridiculous. Let's give her a try. Alright. A little darker brown in color, almost like a brown ale. We got a light khaki head. Nice bit of malt. I do pick up some hops. Oh, that's very pleasant. Brown notes, kind of a darker caramel flavor. The hops you get kind of right at the end, but they're very subtle. This is a very drinkable beer. Probably would lean something more toward a fall type beer. I don't know if this is something here in the U.S. summertime. I don't know if this would be a summertime beer. I can imagine on a drizzly day in London, though, this probably would hit the spot. Overall, nice beer. Like I said, color-wise, it comes out as kind of a brown ale or a darker version of brown ale. If we're going to compare this to like a Newcastle brown ale, though, not as much malt sweetness, get a little more bitterness. Overall, though, this is a very pleasant beer. I could definitely, if you want 102 outside in Vegas, I could probably sit outside and drink a couple of these, again, on a nice fall or early winter afternoon. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section. Or if there's a beer you'd like me to review, also leave it there too. Well, until next time, bottoms up.